Okay, so for Pride, I want to introduce the films of my favourite director, Stephan Elliott, LGBT Australian writer-director, and who I think is kind of Australia's answer to Billy Wilder, and some of my favourite golden and silver-aged films. And this week we've got Eye of the Beholder. Sorry, it's not the most attractive cover, but in any case you can see we've got a kind of a spy movie here. So we've got Ewan McGregor, who is a British spy and is tasked with tracking serial killer Joanna Eris, who is played by Ashley Judd, and he ends up stalking her for many years and almost becomes a kind of guardian angel. Now, I wonder what kind of film would I might link this to. Would it be Hitchcock? I mean, Hitchcock is thanked at the end of this. I suppose I could say, oh, okay, you should watch this, and then there's a setting in San Francisco, so you should watch Vertigo. But I'm not. The film I'm going to recommend is it's hard to see, The Portrait of Jennie. Now, there are quite a lot of parallels in these two films. Now, of course, this might be the twisted version, but they both offer a kind of magical realism where you've got so Joesph Cotton, he plays a very uninspired artist, and Ethel Barrymore tells him, go and get inspired, you're talented, but your paintings have no heart. And then he discovers this young girl in the park, and he's so inspired by her. They have a conversation, but she talks about the past as if it's happening now. And so, but anyway, he paints her. He's starting to be able to sell. So this is he's kind of during the Great Depression. She seems to be in the 1800s. Is she a ghost? She exists within the space of the park. Now, every time he meets her, she grows older and older, and eventually he pursues her to the lighthouse. Now, during when he's trying to research into her, he does take a trip to a convent where he talks with Lillian Gish, who is a nun and teacher at a school, who is able to provide him with information about Jennie. Now, Ewan McGregor does the same thing, where he goes to a kind of reform school where he meets with, I probably can't say her name properly, but Genevieve Barjot, a little bit older, of course, because these films are about 30 years apart. And so she is the principal of this reform school, and Joanna was kind of her protege, and where he learns a lot about her. And so, and so I think if you watch the two together, I think they become a very interesting double feature. In that, even though this is a kind of pretty twisted sort of film noir thriller, whereas obviously this is a supernatural romance. I think the two films have a very interesting parallel, with the magical realism, the sort of the ghost that inspires a man on his quest. I've gone on too long. I love both of these films, and I genuinely hope you watch both of them. And if you want, Anne of a Thousand Days is also a great movie. And I guess the parallel, if you love all of Joanna's wigs in this, you've got to watch Priscilla, the granddaddy of them all. The film where, even when Frauds came out, it was listed as, it's his first film, but it was listed as made by the director of his second film, Priscilla. So there you go. Thanks for joining me. If you're interested, I'm happy to do more of these. Thank you so much. Hi, it's Hamish from the future, and I just wanted to add one more film, a little film called WillFull. If you can find it, now there's the hard task. It's about a young woman. It's an Australian film which was produced by Stephan Elliott, but it was directed by the producer of Priscilla. So there's a kind of an interesting little reversal. It's about a young woman who deals with her mother's death, and there is an element of, it's a comedy drama, and there's an element of magical realism in that she often communicates with her mother's ghost, who is so wonderfully played by Anne Loopy. If you can find it, check it out.